Okay, fab. So come and lie down onto your backs. Something, I don't know if she's here this evening or if I've not seen you come in, Vanessa, I don't know. But something a couple of people have mentioned is being comfortable or getting better at folding forwards. So that's what we're going to work on today. So I'm going to talk a lot about how you can help that as we go. But for now, just start with the feet planted on the floor, the knees knocking in together, hands on the belly, eyes closed, shoulders pulling down into the yoga mat. So the backs of your shoulders, the backs of your arms, drawing down into the ground, space across the chest. And just start to take a few deep breaths with no expectation or force on the breath. Just an easy, steady breath. You can just soften into the jaw, soften around the eyes, soften the palm of the hands, and make sure you're not tense in the hands. Relaxed and heavy through the hips, pushing down into the feet. And just take a few breaths here. Inhale and exhale. If you can at this stage, breathing in and out through the nose. And when it comes to getting better, I don't really like the word getting better at because it makes it sound like it's some kind of weird competition. But when it comes to finding it easier to forward fold, we want to think about creating as much space in the lower back as possible so that moving forwards is easier, and also lengthening through the backs of the legs, but also making our folds active and not just kind of flopping forwards into them. So that's what we'll work on as we move this evening. Rest your arms down by your side. So now pushing the hands down into the floor. Wriggle the feet so they're about hip width apart, comfortable distance apart. Drive down into the feet, lift up through the hips. So we start with the glute bridge just to turn on the muscles in the back of the legs, wake up the glutes, drive down into the feet. And then if you feel like the hips are dropping, just try and tuck your tailbone under. So that wants to be a strong, stable area around the hips, the lower back. Pushing down more into all 10 toes, more into the ball of the foot, more into the heel. Hold it here for 3 more breaths. I want you to start feeling the work in the backs of the legs. Start feeling the work in the glutes. Lift it higher for 1 more breath. And then exhale, slowly roll that down. Pull the waist in as you roll that down. Stretch the left leg out all the way to the bottom of the yoga mat and bring the right knee in. Take it slightly out to the side so you avoid the rib cage and try and pull it as close as possible to the thigh. So, pull the thigh in as close as possible to the body. So you're really trying to close that gap between the belly and the thigh. So when we do a deep forward fold, that's what we're aiming for, right? We're trying to touch the belly and the thigh together. Now keep that contact, but take the hands behind the thigh. So keep the belly and thigh contact. And now, whilst the thigh is touching, I want you to see if you can straighten the leg. And you're probably going to get to a place where the leg doesn't actually straighten so much if you're keeping that belly and thigh connection. I mean, if you just glance to the camera, you'll see mine goes to kind of about 90 degrees at the back of the knee. So acknowledge that, because actually when you're in a seated forward fold, the leg's straight. So think of how much more you're demanding of the body. We want to be able to lie flat forwards, but actually it's really hard to do that. Now you can back off so the thigh can come away from the belly. Still holding on to the back of the thigh, maybe interlace the fingers now and straighten the leg. I want the leg to be deadly straight. So the heel is kicking up to the sky, the toes are pulling back to the face. Don't allow the knee to bend at all. Just see how far you can bring that leg in towards you. So again, I mean, I'm kind of I'd probably say 90 degrees at my hip. So it is a task to get that in all the way without letting the knee bend. Okay, then let that right leg go all the way down. Just give it a shake. Just kicked my plant. Then bring your left knee in. So you're taking that left knee out to the side and pulling it in nice and close so that the thigh and the belly touch. So holding that connection. Imagine you've got a piece of paper there between the thigh and the belly and you don't want to let it fall away. Now take the hands so they're on the back of the thigh. Stay connected, stay touching, and then kick the leg. Well, you're going to try and kick it straight. Most likely won't go fully straight. You're trying to work that leg straight. You're going to notice how hard it is. Okay, then back off. So allow some space to come between the belly and the thigh. Hold on to the back of the leg. Heel kicks to the ceiling so the leg is straight. And now keeping the leg as straight as possible, see if you can bring it in towards you. Slowly bring it in. And then take that left leg all the way out, give it a shake. Okay, both legs up to the sky, kick both legs up straight. So I want you to almost lock the knees out, lock them out using the strength of the quadriceps, so the front of the thighs. Now pull the legs in. How far can you bring them into the chest, keeping them straight, not letting them bend? So your hips might start to lift a little. But I want you to just glance, so you'll kind of have to gaze downwards, at the distance between the belly and the thighs. So if that's what you've got here, it's not going to be too much difference when you're sat in a forward fold to start with. Okay, then take the hands to the back of the head. Just lift the head, neck, shoulders off the floor. Point the toes now. Stretch the right leg all the way down, but don't let it touch the floor. Bring the right leg back. Take the left leg long and down. Bring it back. 6 more. Stretch the right leg away. Control as you bring in. Stretch the left leg away. Control as you bring it back. 4 more. So just waking up through the hip flexors and the abdominals. Last 3. Bring it back. Last 2. Bring it back. Last 1. Bring it back. Bend both knees, hug them in. And then cross the legs, rock yourself all the way up to a seat, and then just bring yourself over. So hands come to the top of the yoga mat, take it back into downward facing dog. So take your time to get there. Have a pedal around through the feet, have a good wriggle through the hips, kind of sway the hips from side to side. Hopefully feeling like there's already quite a stretch down the backs of the legs, feeling like you're nice and warm through the back of the legs, and you can really push down through the heels, push down through the hands, and imagine someone's lifting your hips up to the sky. So the spine lengthens, the back of the legs lengthen. Pull the navel in, so you're strong through the center of the body. And then look to the hands. Step your right foot forwards. Rest the back knee to the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. So really tuck the tailbone under. So you really feel a hip stretch before we've gone forward. So tuck under, squeeze that left glute on so the back of the hip is strong. and then slowly move forwards. If that tailbone's really tucked under, it's almost going to feel like you can't move that far forwards that easily. I almost want it to feel like it's hard to go forwards. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And take one more breath. Exhale, bring the hands down inside of your right foot. Wriggle your left knee just a little further back so there's a bit more stretch through that left thigh. And then keeping the hands on the floor, just gaze forwards. So we're really opening through the left hip. So it's a strong opening through the left hip. The more space we can create here, then the easier it is to fold forwards because we're not working through tight hips. We're not trying to fold into an area that's a bit, I mean, it's a weird word to say, but like a bit grotty, a bit nasty. It's a very untechnical term for short muscles, but we're going to use it. And then here you have two options. First option, not quite as intense. Tuck the back toes and lift the left knee off the floor. Want that to still feel strong through the hips. Second option, your left toes stay pointing back. So I'm on the top of my left foot. Push into your left foot and lift the left knee. So it's much more active through the left thigh. If you feel a bit vulnerable around the knee joint or the ankle, maybe not the one for you. But if you want something a bit stronger, then you're pushing into the front of the left foot. We'll all rest that back foot down. Walk the hands back slightly as you straighten the right leg and pull the right toes back. So have a right angle at the back of the left knee. And you're pulling that right heel back. So much so, I want you to imagine that the mat is almost kind of, scrunching up in the middle. You're pulling back that much through the right heel. So really push that right heel down. Pull the waist in. So think about pulling in through the center of the body. And that's going to let you go a little bit further forwards through the upper body. Your right thigh is trying to draw back to the right hip. And then from here, I'm just going to change so you can see me better. From here, can you see my foot? No, that doesn't help. Okay, just look at my foot, not what I'm doing with my body. So you're exactly the same as you were. Turn your right foot out to the side. So now the stretch comes a bit more up the outside of the leg. So you're still in this position. I just wanted you to be able to see my foot. I really need like another foot of room that way. It's just from where my camera is. I could just do with an extension on the room. So feel that down the outside of the right thigh. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Come back to center. Take both hands down. Step back into downward facing dog. And when you get there, just notice or see if you feel a difference from the left to the right. Roll the body forwards to a plank position. Rest the knees and then lower the chest and chin all the way down. Inhale, pull the shoulders back, gaze forward, squeeze the glutes on. Exhale, lower the chest down. Toes tuck. Knees bend back into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Same simple sequence on the left. So step the left foot forwards. Rest the back knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. So you're really trying to tuck under. So you're open through the front of the right thigh before we've gone anywhere near diving into the front of the hips. So that tuck of the tailbone, that squeeze of the right glute. is what's going to help you stretch through the right thigh. Breathe in. Breathe out, and then moving into the right hip, but slowly, so it should be really strong. If it's not strong, tuck the tailbone under more, and then go forwards. To really feel that, like a really active stretch through the front of the right thigh. And then take the hands down inside of the left foot. Try and move that right knee further back. So reach the right kneecap a bit further back. And then from here, just start by looking forward. So we're keeping the back knee down to start with. And as the gaze comes forward, the right hip moves further down to the floor as an opening through the front of the right thigh. Second stage, option 1, toes tuck, and you lift that back knee off the floor. Option 2, point the toes away, push into the front of the right foot, and it's the engagement of the thigh that's going to lift up there. So it's a pull in through the waist and a really strong right leg. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Everyone slowly lower that back knee down. Walk the hands a bit further back and straighten that front leg. Toes pull back to the face. So round about 90 degrees at the back of the right knee. And then can you pull the mat almost as you're really trying to draw that left heel back towards you. Pull the toes back. Engage through the left thigh. Navel into spine. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Inhale. Exhale. Pulling the waist in. So again, that idea of being more active. And then let the left toes turn out to the side. So you kind of turn them out to kind of imagine turning them to like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock on a clock face. So you're going to feel that more into the outer left thigh. Take another big breath. And exhale. Slowly bring it back. Push both hands down. Take the left knee back next to the right knee. Tuck the toes into downward facing dog. So feeling nice and awake through the backs of the legs, through the front of the hips. Roll the body forwards to a plank. You can rest the knees if you like, or you can lower all the way down, maybe holding halfway if you want to go a bit stronger. Push into the hands, lift the chest. Open the chest forwards. You don't need to look up to the ceiling. Keep the gaze forwards. Exhale, take it back. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Really push down into your left foot as much as you can. And at the same time, push into your right hand. So push into the left foot, push into the right hand. And then switch, push into the right foot and push into the left hand. So you're kind of pushing opposites. Really ground them down. And then come back to an even distribution of weight across both hands and both feet. Lift the hips to the sky, so lengthen through the back of the body. Take a big inhale and exhale. Reach your right leg up to the sky. Lift that right heel high. And then pull the right knee into the chest. Step the right foot forwards. High lunge, reach the arms up to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Start to slowly move into that left hip. So at the same time as you're pushing forwards, try and pull the waist back in. So kind of that left hip wants to go forwards, but your belly wants to pull back. And move that left hip forwards, but at the same time, push down into your right foot. So you're just making that whole posture more active and stronger. Squeeze the left glutes on. So really try and engage the left glutes. Breathing in. Breathing out. Straighten the front leg. So you'll be on the ball of the back foot. You can stay on the ball of the back foot, that's fine. Hinge at the hips and lean the body forwards. So you'll come down to about halfway. Might be a bit further up, might be a bit further down. I don't want you to drop all the way forwards yet. Lift the right thigh. So engage the right thigh, contract the right thigh muscle. And then let the hands come all the way down to the floor. You might need to bend the right knee a little to bring the hands down. If you do, that's fine. If the right leg is straight, make sure you're pushing into the right foot and pulling up through the right thigh. So my right thigh muscle, if I look to the right knee, I can see my right thigh muscle bulging. So I can see the quadricep lifting the knee, protecting the knee. If you want to soften the back knee slightly, you can. We're lengthening down through the front of the right leg. Breathe in. Breathe out. Turn the left toes out to the side. Plant the left foot down. Bend the right knee. Open into warrior two. Breathe in. And breathe out. Straighten your right leg and push down into the right heel. Lift the right toes. So if you can see, I'm balancing on the ball of the right foot. So you have to engage this thigh. I want you to feel that right thigh muscle bulking. And then if you're comfortable staying there on the heel, if not, place the foot back down. If you're comfortable, lean into your triangle with the toes lifted. If you'd rather place them down, please don't worry about it. Right hand to the right shin, left arm to the sky. Strong stretch on the inside of the legs. Engaged and active through the legs. Breathing in. Breathing out. If your front toes are lifted, just place them down. Lift the body all the way up. Turn the right toes in. Wide stance facing the left side of the room. Hands to the hips. Take a big inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then a big exhale, fold the body forwards. Take your hands all the way down to the ground. Relax the weight of the head. I want you to try and have the crown of the head facing down to the floor. And we did this the other day. You're going to lift your hands and reach to the wall that was the right side of your room. So you're reaching past the right-hand side of your yoga mat. If I go from the side, in case you want to glance, trying to reach my hands through. Really pull, so you feel the belly muscles working. Pull the navel into the spine. Make it really active and strong for 5. Keep pulling. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hands back underneath the face. Walk them round to the right foot and step back into downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. 1. Inhale. Exhale. Let's start to notice if you feel maybe the heels are going a bit further to the ground than they were at the start of the class. Relax the head. Give the head a shake. Loosen off the back of the neck. Take an inhale. Lift the left leg high to the sky. So just reach that left heel up. Bring the left knee in and step the left foot forwards. High lunge, take your arms up to the sky. Squeeze that right glute on. So really active into the right glute. I'm just going to turn around so I can see you better, but you can stay where you are. Engage through that right glute. And then think about pulling the waist in as you go forwards into the hip. Pull the waist in. And the other thing to think about, well, you can do this with your own hands actually. Place your hands to the side of your hips and just imagine you're pushing the hips in towards one another. So you've got both hip bones, and I want you to kind of imagine there's a pulling in to the center. So there's this like inward strength. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Straighten the front leg. I'm still on the ball of my back foot. I'm going to slowly tilt forwards. Might not come that far. My front leg is really strong. It's a lot of work through the front leg. And then I'm going to take my hands all the way down to the floor. Maybe with a little bend in the knees, or maybe the legs are straight. But you bend the knees as much as you need to so the fingertips or the hands can touch the ground. If you have blocks, I'd always say use blocks at this stage. It makes it much nicer. It means you can really lengthen the legs without worrying about finding the floor. Lift through that left thigh. So can you pull the left thigh into the body? Rest your right heel. Turn the right toes out. Bend the left knee. Warrior two. Arms out wide. Left knee bent. Right leg straight. Take a big inhale. And exhale. Then straighten the left leg. Lift the left toe. So everyone just give lifting the toes a go. And then if that's not very comfortable for you, you need to have a good fat pad on the base of your heel. Otherwise, it can be really uncomfortable. So if it's too much, let the foot come back down. If it's okay, you can lean the left arm forwards. We're all going to lean into triangle. It's just whether you do it with the toes lifted or not. So completely up to you. 3 breaths there. In and out. Breathe in and out. One more breath. And out. Slowly rise up. Bring the left toes in and take yourself all the way forwards. Soften the knees on this bend to start with. So let the knees be soft. And when we were led on our back at the start of practice, we talked about that connection between your belly and your thighs. So hold on to that connection here. So you've got the connection because the knees are really bent. So that enables you to touch the thighs with the belly. Now hold the hands to the back of the ankles. Don't lose the connection. Only straighten the legs as much as you can keep that connection. Pull with the hands. Lift with the hips. Chin into chest. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the hands underneath the face. Take the hands to the left foot. Step back into downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take your knees wide to the edges of the yoga mat. Point your toes and sit the hips way back to the heels. Rest your forehead down. If that's too far to the ground, make a pillow with the hands and just rest the upper body here. Breathe in. Breathe out. In your child's pose, you're trying to melt across the back of the shoulders, trying to really soften. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Take 2 more breaths. One more breath. Exhale, push down into the hands. Bring yourself up to all fours. Hands and knees. Just move through your cat-cow. So inhale, look forwards. Exhale, arch and round. Really tuck the tailbone under. Inhale, look forwards. Send the tailbone back. Exhale, round through the spine. Tuck the tailbone under. So that tuck under is going to really help open through the lower back. Go for 3 more. Real emphasis on the hips and the lower back. Arch and round. Look forwards. And then arch and round. Find a neutral spinal position. So rest somewhere between those two. You're going to keep the upper body as still as you can. It will move a little. All I want you to do is think about the cat-cow movement with the lower body. So the upper body stays quite still. Close your eyes. So just you really think about and really feel the movement. Don't worry what it looks like. Can you just tuck the tailbone under without that creeping into the lower back? And can you let the tailbone flare back without dropping too much through the chest? It takes a lot more control, a lot more work to stabilize as you arch. So you're kind of arching and flexing through the tailbone area. Just go for 2 more. Might feel like the movement isn't so great, but the control is what's key. Okay, and then tuck the tailbone, lift back into downward facing. Walk your hands and your feet together. So you're in a forward fold. Really bend the knees. Again, talking about this connection, I want you to close the gap between the body and your thighs. Then reach your hands past your shins to the back of the room. Stretch your fingertips back. Imagine you're trying to pull your forehead to the shins. Really think about connecting the upper body and the lower body together. So can you pull yourself into that position? And then let it go. Roll up to standing. Take your time. Slowly coming up. Stand nice and tall. Relax the arms down by the side. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. And then take the hands to the hips. Gaze forwards. Just notice, so make sure your hands are on your hips level, so don't have one up, one down. So kind of equalize where the hands are. Slightly shift the body weight to the left foot. And as you lift the right knee into the chest, see if you can keep the hips level. So try not to let that right hip lift up too much. You're carrying that right knee into the chest. Now kick the right foot away. And hold that right foot, toes pulling back to the face as high as you can for 5. I want you to start feeling it in the thigh for 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that right foot down. Take the right hand out to the side of the room. So palm is open, not palm in, palm open. Bend the right knee and hold on to the inside of the right ankle. That might be as far as you get. That might be enough of a challenge to the shoulder. If it is, just hold on to furniture or the wall and just think about that opening through the chest. If you want more, take the left arm up to the sky. Reach the right leg back as you lean the body forwards. So opposites. As you stretch the right leg back, can you reach the left arm forwards? Reach back, reach forwards for 3, 2, 1. Really slowly come back. Everyone place the right foot down to the floor. Lift the right arm up to the sky. So now both arms are up. Shift the weight to the left leg. With a straight right leg, kick the leg out in front of you. And now you've made a bit more space in the hip. See if you can lift it higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place it down. Fold all the way through the spine. Come to the floor. Widen the gap between the feet. Hold opposite elbows and just rock from side to side. Sway from left to right. Knees are bent, so have a good softness through the knees. And then take your left hand to the floor. Reach your right arm up to the sky, out to the side. And as you do so, maybe the right leg straightens. It might not. Keep the left knee bent, but maybe you can straighten the right leg. Quite a stretch around the hip, into the back of the right thigh. And then slowly bring it down. Roll up to standing. As you roll up, catch the hips, hands on the hips. Wriggle the feet back in so they're in a more neutral position, about hip width apart. Keep the hips level. Lift the left knee into the chest with level hips. That might be your challenge for this evening. You might just stay there. Or can you kick that left leg away? Keep it high for 5. Left thigh is working for 4. Lift for 3, 2, 1. Bend the left knee. Take it back behind you. Left palm open to the left side of the room. Hand comes inside of the left ankle. Right arm reaches up or stays on the hip if that's where you're staying this evening. If you're reaching up and you want more, make sure the kick back and the reach forward is even. If they're really truly even, you shouldn't wobble so much because the push equals the pull and it's going to hold you there in the middle. If you do wobble, just come back in. 5, 4, make sure you're breathing. 3, 2, 1, slowly back to center. Right arm up to the sky, left foot down, left arm up, both arms up. Left leg straight, kick the left leg out in front of you. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down and fold through the spine. All the way down. Knees bend. First 2 fingers, peace fingers, hook around the big toe. So hold on to your big toe. Let the crown of the head face down to the floor. So you're not looking forwards and creasing the back of the neck. Chin is into chest. Pull with the grip. Send the elbows out to the side of the room. Start with the belly and the thigh touching, the knees nice and bent. And then as you get comfortable, keep the contact, but can you straighten the legs? And the answer doesn't have to be yes. So just keep working on pulling down and lifting the hips. Relax the hands to the floor and slowly Make your way down to a seat. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees go out to the side. Hold on to the front of the ankles. I'm not that tight in this diamond shape. It's quite nice, wide diamond shape. Hold on to your ankles. Pull your shoulders back to lift the chest forwards. And then as you exhale, pull forwards on the ankles and lean the chest as far forwards as you can. You might want to reach the hands out in front of you. It's your preference. If you reach them out, it's quite nice to push the fingers down into the floor or really grip the ground and try and pull yourself forwards. So kind of holding onto the carpet or the wooden floor, whatever surface, and you're pulling yourself into that fold. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly work yourself up. Come all the way up. Take your right leg out, give it a shake. You can bring the left foot in so it touches the right thigh. Take your hands either side of the right foot and think about your belly. Can you take your belly down to the thigh? Even if that's as far as you go and you don't lean all the way forwards, pull the right toes back to the face. I think my toes are cut off here, but trying to pull my toes back to the face. And at the same time, stretch your heel away. Maybe you stretch the heel away so much that the heel lifts a little off the ground. And then relax the right leg and just let the body fold forwards with no effort, no tension, no force. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. All the way in. All the way out. Slowly bring yourself back up. Swap over, so just take the left leg out, give both legs a shake in the middle. Right foot in. So start by pulling the toes back to the face, hands either side of the thigh. Engage that left leg. So I want you to feel this left thigh kind of pulling back in and then tilt at the hips. So yeah, that word probably works better. Instead of thinking about folding all the way forwards, think about this hinge joint and tilting. Well, it's not a hinge joint, but think about tilting forwards. Pull the toes back to the face. And here you can maybe see a little actually. I'm pulling so much with my quad, with the front of my thigh, that I'm almost lifting. I can slide my fingers underneath this left foot. Kick the heel away, really super active, and then let it all go. Fold forwards and relax. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. In and out. In and out. Roll all the way up. Take both legs out. Give both legs a little bit of a shake. Just make sure you have space behind you. Reach the arms out in front of you. Tuck the tailbone under and just slowly roll the spine down to the floor. So pull the belly button in. Roll the spine down. Reach the arms overhead. Interlace the hands. Stretch the heels of the hands away. Point the toes. And then relax the arms. You can bring them down by the side, or if you like, rest the hands on the belly. Walk your feet in, and then take your feet out to the edges of your yoga mat. And feet touching the edges, knees are going to come all the way in and touch. Now, if they don't touch, wriggle your feet a little bit closer. And if they touch super easily, walk your feet out a little wider. Because I want you to feel an internal stretch. I want you to feel an inward rotation through the front of the hips. Don't want you to be led here comfortably, which sounds horrible. I want you to be able to feel that inward stretch for a moment. We're not here for long. Take 3 more big breaths in. Really try and work the knees together. 2 more breaths. I'm trying to find space around the hips. Done quite a strong practice with the hips and the legs, so it's just a good stretch off. And then slowly release. Wriggle the feet together now. So the opposite of that, the feet are going to come together and the knees fall out to the side. There's a long stretch through the inner thighs. Try your best to relax the knees outwards. Let go through the front of the hips. If your knees aren't comfortably out to the side, if you do have blocks or cushions, you can always pad underneath the thighs so that you're supported here. Breathe deep. Exhale. Make sure there's a softness beneath the hands. Relax down through the shoulders. Soften the expression through the face. If you're really comfortable and you want to stay here, that's fine. If you're not that comfortable and you'd rather stretch your legs out for a final relaxation, then just reach the feet to the bottom corners of your yoga mat. And then once they're there, let the toes relax out to the side. Breathing in and breathing out. And we've worked quite strong and active. So just make sure you're not still engaged or holding on around the hips. Really give your body permission to soften in that space, to relax around the hips and through the thighs, down the backs of the legs. Feel the weight of the heels into the floor, the weight of the hips into the ground, the weight through the back of the shoulders, down through the backs of the arms, the elbows, and through the back of the head. In contrast, notice the space through the front of the hips, the space through your chest and your shoulders. Big breath in here. Bringing your breath back, using the big breath to energize the body, to wake the body back up. And take some movement into the fingers and the toes. Roll your wrists and roll your ankles. Maybe small little clicks or cracks. If you have the space and you want to take another long body stretch, reach the hands overhead, push the hands away, point the toes away, and then bring the knees in. Really nice and close. Hug the knees into the chest. Slide your hands behind the thighs, in between the thighs and the calves, holding the thighs in close. Try straightening the legs out. Not forcing it, but just seeing if there's a bit more space than there was at the start of practice. And then with a bit of momentum, Cross the legs, rock all the way up. Cross the legs, place the hands on the knees or on the thighs. Doesn't really matter where the hands land. Sit nice and tall. Pull the shoulders back so the chest is nice and open. Chin in very slightly, just so we lift and lengthen into the back of the neck. Just take a few breaths here. Slowing down. Notice the length of your breath. And then just reach the arms up to the sky, lift tall. Hands into prayer heart center. Bring your chin into your chest. And just thank yourself for coming and joining us this evening, for making time to come and practice. Have a wonderful rest of the evening.